my students, my certification students, here on Zoom with us. The rest of you who are in on Facebook Live can email me at juliegriffinhypnosis@icloud.com. And if you ever want to see my website and see all the work I've done, it's hypnosistoday.com. Feel free to contact me with any questions at the website or to message me through Messenger and to friend me. Hypnotists are really helpful to each other. And that's one of the great things that I learned when I was new, was that everybody would help me and everybody would support me. And there's not that many businesses where it's like that. If you want help, ask for it. I'm now actively retired from hypnosis. Doesn't really look that way or feel that way, but I'm supposed to be retired. But this is fun. I was called to teach a certification class and it kind of snowballed, and I'm happy for all of it. And I love this whole Zoom Facebook Live combination. Let's get rolling. And again, I'm Julie Griffin. This is Masterclass Hypnosis. The topic tonight is the business of hypnosis. Much of the same things that I say about hypnosis can be applied to any type of holistic practice. When you're developing a business, what you want to ask yourself is, who are you? You know, what can you bring to the table of your business? I know, obviously, this is a hypnosis show, and most of you have at least a pretty big interest in hypnosis. I know that some of you are seriously into hypnosis and want to have a full-time practice. But ask yourself, what do you have that will help you to stand apart from other hypnotists so that you have something about you that is unique and interesting, so that you don't just get lost in the crowd of other practitioners? You're going to set yourself apart. Start putting this together. It's time. You've studied it long enough. You know the subject matter, and it will be easy for you to reach the people that need your help, and I'm guessing a whole lot more than you ever dreamed. One of the things we're going to talk about is the importance of having a niche market or two that will also put you in a specific range of attention, because there's a lot of people doing a lot of hypnosis. Some of it is good, some of it is really bad, some of it is dangerous. You want to do excellent hypnosis, of course. You want to do caring and loving hypnosis, of course. You want to do something that causes you to stand out and be noticed so that you can help the most people, and so that you are able to make a good living. Because let's face it, people earn a living doing all kinds of things that are bogus and all kinds of things that are harmful, like creating cigarettes and alcohol and, big pharmacy and all that stuff. So we might as well do something like make a really great living doing what we love. And for me, prayer helps me with that. And I don't care if you pray to a pony in Topsfield, or if you pray to, God, or if you pray to Buddha or Allah, or if your prayers take the form in affirmations. But that has been a big way for me to connect upstairs and to ask for assistance with what I need and how to orchestrate what I think I want, and to ask the universe to let me know if I'm on the wrong path, but also to illuminate the right path. So you can set a whole bunch of intentions, and part of your intention setting process is knowing where you want to go, because you can take that walk down the right path, but you have to know where you're going. On some levels, you have to know what you want. It really helps, at least. Like sometimes you'll stumble into things, but it really helps to have some kind of a plan or desire in your heart. So I know that Maria mentioned to me that she wants to help teenagers. Do you have any questions for me about that, Maria?
I'm noticing a lot of teenagers and young adults right now are coming to me for anxiety. And I do the Reiki healing, but they just want to relax and they don't know how to. My daughter's friends, about 5 or 6 of them, just enjoy it so much. We did the relaxation hypnosis and they want to come back. And it says it's helped them throughout the day in school with focusing. Mm-hmm. And when those anxious feelings come, end up finding a way just to let it go. But yeah, anxiety is a big one for them right now. And I'm trying to understand where it's stemming from, because I remember being in high school and constantly having these anxious feelings.
Well, the first thing I want to say to you about working with teenagers is they're a great group. They like hypnosis. They need to relax. They're usually very respectful and way into it. If you make them a reinforcement audio, they will listen to it every day. But what you have to be careful about with that group and anybody under 18 is that you have full written consent from each of their parents. Everybody who's hearing us talk about teenagers or any children, you need parental consent in writing. You all have the intake form from me. You can change the intake form up a little bit to make it a little bit more children specific. We could add some questions like, what's your favorite subject at school? They're just things to put into their minds and to have topics of conversation with them. And then you have them sign it, and you also have their parents sign it, preferably both parents. And if you get wind that one of the parents is bringing a child to you or a teen to you without the other parent's permission because they don't think the other parent will agree to it, don't do it. Okay? That's harsh because you want to help the child, but you don't want to get sued. You don't want to be in a situation where you're coming between a child and two parents or any such situation. So watch out there. If you're running a seminar, like a big group seminar, you've got to have signed consent from everybody that comes into the room if it's your program. If you're doing an expo or something like that, you just have to announce at the beginning, we're about to start a hypnosis program. And because I can be very persuasive, you should only stay here if you want the outcome to be achieved, because this will work for you. Please be advised, if you do not want to be hypnotized, it is time for you to leave. Thank you very much. By staying here beyond this time, you agree to be hypnotized by me for the topic of the business of hypnosis. Okay? That's what I always say if I'm doing an expo or something like that, or a convention, or a group where it's too big and too fast for me to get an intake form or even an application filled out. So have that available so that they can definitely know that the hypnosis is starting. And then always record your programs too. Even if you are doing something at a seminar or a workshop format or an expo, you can record it on your phone, put it on a tripod and video yourself, which is great to do because then you can check your own performance, but always record it so you can reference back if you ever need to prove what you said and what you didn't say. I hate to think of things that way, but I recorded every session that I ever did when I was on the road doing smoking and weight loss. And I was with a partner named James Joyce, like the writer, but less dead. And we recorded every single session. And then even though we do like 16 programs a week in 3 different states or 2 different states, we would watch those shows in the 2 down days we had and watch our performance and make sure we were getting better and sounding as good as we could sound. And that's how you improve, is practice, 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 and watching yourself and checking yourself out. But again, we had evidence. If anybody ever said, oh, they said something wrong or they caused me harm, we'd be able to prove that we didn't. And because people could see that we were recording, nobody was going to even make such a complaint. But usually hypnotists don't have problems like that. I'm just trying to think all the way through so that you know that you're safeguarding yourself, because when you know you're safe, and you know that you've gotten permission, then you will be as relaxed as possible and most able to deliver a phenomenal program or a phenomenal private session or whatever it is you're doing. So take those precautions. So again, we were talking about what you want to do, and we have Maria sharing with us that she wants to work with teens. We have Felicia sharing with us that she is working with people on the autism spectrum, and that she herself is, which is really amazing to me because I can't even imagine that anyone would know that you were, I hate that word, atypical or whatever the heck it is, right. Because you're just so polished and amazing. Andy will probably be adding music in some form to his hypnosis. Anybody else want to share what they might be adding to make themselves stand out in the business world?
Well, I'm a psychic medium, And I would love to add this into my business.
Okay.
And I think that it would be a very natural progression.
I agree. And you've already got a following as a psychic, and you've already got a lot of people who like and trust and respect you as a psychic. So I think it will be easy for you to send out a mailing to people who already
You're right.
know you. But what I do want to caution anybody who's psychic here, and remind myself too, because I'm pretty psychic, is that you have to wear different hats on different days, because you cannot do reading with your clients in trance. And if you pick up psychically something, you cannot tell the client what you are picking up, because you could inadvertently create false memory syndrome. It could be slightly wrong. First of all, I don't mean to say that you would be wrong, June, specifically.
Oh, no, I know what you mean.
Wrong or slightly off.
Sure.
Also, you're going to pick up all kinds of things as a psychic and intuitive and aware person, but that doesn't mean you should let them come out of your mouth. So we all have to be very mindful in the hypnosis session. The client is deeply, deeply relaxed. Their mind is wide open, and whatever you say is going to go into their subconscious like it's a fact. And if they are having like a great thought or coming to a realization, and you say something that you're seeing or you're feeling for them, then that might take them down a completely different road than they're heading. So there's just all kinds of reasons, but the biggest one is you do not want to inadvertently create false memory syndrome. Plus, the second biggest one is that you want the clients to find their own answers. Okay? Because when they find it in their own mind in a hypnosis session, they will think you are the smartest person in the world, and they will believe what they've experienced. If you just give them a reading in the middle of a session, they'll be like, well, that's nice. I wonder if it's true. But if they suddenly stumble on something themselves because you've helped them to relax and gotten them into a state where they're receptive to knowing themselves better and to accessing their higher mind, when they see something or become aware of something or feel something, it will hit, with tremendous, tremendous resonation, and they will know it's true. But they'll always second guess it if you tell them. Anybody ever had that experience with a psychic where they told you something and then you like wondered about it for like the rest of your life? I know that's happened to me. Maybe I always want proof. And in hypnosis, we can actually help the client find proof. If they say you've regressed them and they're suddenly remembering the pyramids, you might see the pyramids, or you might even want to say, I see pyramids. But if you say that, you might assume that they're in Egypt and say something like that reminds them of Egypt, when in fact the pyramids were in Mexico or some other place. So it's just so easy to lead them down the wrong path. It's just better to let them have the experience and let them tell you, and then you can ask them questions to draw it out. But anyway, you get my point, is different hats on different days. Be psychic, keep those sessions separate.
Yes.
And then you have two streams of revenue too, which is great. Maybe you can give them buy one, get another one for 25% off or something. You want to get into that type of marketing. I wouldn't do that, because I think all your services are valuable, and especially once you're established, you shouldn't be discounting them too much. As a newbie, you want to do a lot of free sessions for people, but you still want to get them to sign a piece of paper when they register at the door. You want to get their name and that they agree to be hypnotized. If you're doing like a group freebie at the library, which is a great place to do it, the library or the church, or any church. Churches need speakers and they need things going on. There's all kinds of YWCAs, YMCAs. Just ask around. You can also get interviewed on the radio, on television, and talk about hypnosis and get that kind of publicity, so that when you do your freebies, they're packed with people, because they're going to be free and people will want to check you out. You'll be very charming when you're interviewed on the radio or on TV, and you'll come in with your own personal style that will get their attention. You'll speak very articulately about what you know and how it can help, and especially on the topic, like say you're going to do something on relaxation. You might want to talk about all the benefits of relaxation. and how relaxation can help cure disease and cure addictions or end addictions and make you more creative, make you feel more vitally alive, et cetera, et cetera. So you could give a little talk on that on TV or on the radio. And I used to be nervous about trying to get those kind of interviews to build my business. But then I realized that the radio and television interviewers, they put their pants on one leg at a time, just like the rest of us, and they need people to interview. And it might as well be you, and it might as well be me. It might as well be all of us. Because if you send out a little press release to a radio station, or you just call and ask for the program manager, you'll get booked. It's like really, really easy. I was on KISS Radio in Boston 3 times. 2 of the times were for at least 45 minutes live at rush hour. Can you imagine that? I would never be able to afford to pay to address, like I think they have a viewership or listenership of about 250,000 people at rush hour, held captive in their car in like the parking lot that is I-95 and I-93. So they're in their car and they've got me bantering with the DJs that they love and me talking about hypnosis or whatever topic it is that the boys are letting me talk about. So if I hadn't called, that wouldn't have happened. I was also, in the first couple of years of my practice, on NBC in Minneapolis, Duluth, Minnesota. I was also on NBC in Springfield. I was also on CBS in Springfield. And all I had to do was just call and say, can I speak to the program director? I'm in your town today. Do you have any slots open? I'm also going to be here next week. And just, they're bound to have cancellations. And they're bound to say, well, I can't do it then, but I'd love to have you on. You sound so fascinating. Okay. This is the best kind of free advertising, because if you are on the radio or on TV, you look like the instant expert, which of course you will be. You will immediately appear that way to everyone. And that will give you a huge advantage over other people who are not stepping out that way, who are not putting themselves forward. So part of it is daring to just let yourself succeed. Let yourself succeed. Be more than you know you are, because you are endless. You are limitless in your capability, in your charm, in your ability to succeed. And remember that prosperity is one of our many, many birthrights, together with love and friendship and sexuality and health, creativity, one of my favorites, our birthrights. It's all there. You were born to prosper and to do it in a way that you love. Speaking of love, I love the words of the great philosopher Khalil Gibran, who's been in spirit for many years, but he wrote the book The Prophet and many other great works. And he says, work is love made visible. Work is love made visible. So as you love your work, then it becomes easy to prepare for sessions, to write programs, to be happy, and your happiness is majorly important to your clients, to your health, to your success, to your excitement level. Every time you get up in the morning, and you want to get up in the morning feeling like, wow, I've got all this great stuff to do today. I'm seeing so-and-so. I'm going to be interviewed here. I'm going to write a press release for the local newspaper. By the way, if you write an article about your new business in town, even if you're working at home, the newspapers are going to publish a story. So send a nice picture of yourself, write the story like it's a press release, and send it in. And when they have space, they're going to publish it. So talk well of yourself. And that's the other thing you have to get into doing. You have to be comfortable saying how good you are at what you do, so that people believe you and want to trust you. And I know that's already true of all of you. So you will all be able to step up and say, I love hypnosis. This is what I'm doing now. It is so exciting to me. And I know I can help you as long as you want to be helped. As long as you want the end result that we're after, I'm sure it will work for you. You have to speak with that kind of love and happiness and compassion in your voice. And you also have to, she's going to say this, with her crazy dress on and the crazy jacket over it, but that's part of my shtick. People know me for being the star of the Secret Society of Aging Divas, my new TV show, and the author of Flying the Talk, which is a book about a hypnotist that is like a cross between 50 Shades of Grey and Bridget Jones' Diary, because it's funny and it's sexy. So I'm known for that. I am rolling everything together by being who I am. Whether I'm writing a book about hypnosis, it's going to be sexy. If I'm writing a book about sex, it's going to have hypnosis in it. It's all going to tie together. It's all going to tag. And I'm not going to stand in my own way of being 100% of who I am, no matter what I am doing. If I'm giving a lecture at my church, I'm not going to tone myself down. I'm always going to be appropriate. But you have to decide what appropriate and how you want to convey yourself, because there's all different ways that you can do this. You can go in with a business suit. I did that last week for giggles, just to see, if I could actually tolerate having a business suit on. And, I got to say, it looked pretty good. Because it was cute. So I felt good in it, and I thought, I can make this work, and then I got some good comments on it. But you've got to make sure that you're comfortable in how you're presenting yourself, and not trying to be something that you are not. Be everything that you are to the nth degree, in the most respectful, loving, convincing, compassionate, and compelling way that you can be, and you will succeed. Because everyone will want to be like you, even if they don't want to dress in a wild outfit. If they trust you and know you are genuine, whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's relaxation or happiness, they will want to be in your company. So whether you're doing music in the background, Andy, or whether you are also at the same expo doing psychic awareness, or whether you're in a room full of children at the Y or in an after-school program. Or Jen, do you want to talk about what you're going to do?
Well, I guess I'm still kind of working that out. My focus is mindfulness training, meditation, and yoga therapy. And I'm looking to integrate hypnotherapy. I also do energy healing. I've also gotten into sound healing with tuning forks, but I'm also wondering, I don't want to spread myself too thin. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of struggling a little bit. Struggling is not the right word. There's lots of opportunities with the different modalities that I'm working in. And I'm working on a website right now, how to actually kind of exactly what you're talking about, how to stand out and how to pull it together.
Mm-hmm. And I certainly understand the tendency to stretch yourself too thin, because I'm working on too many things, it seems like, all the time. What I will also share with you, even though a lot of it seemed pretty convoluted, the number of videos I made in the last year, the number of selfies I took, the amount of exercise and dance routines I did to pull myself together, the number of writing projects, it probably all seemed really kind of insane to my loving and patient husband. But it all just kind of came together in the last week in like a pretty massive way. So I don't want you to say this is too much. I want you to maybe consider, and this is for all of us now, that we ask the universe to help us to know what projects we should say yes to and which ones we should have in the back burner and when we should pull them in. And that still has to be combined with, what do you feel like doing that day? Like, I could say to myself, all right, I'm going to write the sequel to Flying the Talk now, but it might be that I'm too tired. Maybe I did 16 other things the day before, and maybe I need to just have a day where I'm out in the fall foliage and not feel any kind of guilt about that. So yes, you set ideas for yourself, but sometimes a whole new project comes up that you weren't expecting, and that would be the case in this class, because I wasn't going to go back to teaching. I'd never imagined myself teaching on Zoom a full hypnosis certification class, but a couple of you called and another one joined in afterwards. So here I am in the middle of me trying to produce a TV show and working on the book, the sequel to the book. So sometimes you have to go with the flow, I guess is what I'm saying. Let the universe help you and assist you, and ask it to put wind inside the sails of your soul that will propel you in the right direction. Ask the universe or God or whoever it is you speak to and believe in to light the right paths, to be a voice inside your head if you're auditory that will, say, okay, you've got this. Okay, it's time now. Okay, it's time, no matter what you've gone through and no matter how long you've studied and no matter what condition you're in, it's time for you to do this. Okay, when you're ready, the universe knows, your higher self, your higher mind, all of it. But stay in communication with yourself and with any helper in spirit or in the spiritual realm, if you believe in that, or any god, goddess, pony in the field, anybody that will give you the right messages and the right timing. But part of it, the biggest part, is trust. And don't let anybody talk you out of what feels right to you when you are moving towards creating your goals. And don't worry if you do not have any money to start your practice. When I started my practice in Minnesota at age 32, which is 30 years ago, my first husband was totally against it. He wanted me to remain a real estate broker, and he was not helpful at all. So I did everything on the cheap because I didn't want to say I spent this amount of money on my office. I did everything myself and started from nothing and found deals. Like I asked the universe to find me the best deals in office space. One of my first offices was in a funeral home that had been vacant for, I think, 7 years. Nobody had rented it. And it was perfect for me because I could teach drama and dance and creative arts there, as well as doing the hypnosis. And I could do big programs because I could easily fit 30 people stretched out on the floor or what have you. So I had a space. And back then, 30 years ago, it was a deal. I think I paid $400 a month for 1,000 square feet. And it was fabulous. And even though nobody had been in there and there was cobwebs, I just went to one of those home stores and bought cheap paint that somebody else didn't want. And I painted murals and put up curtains. And I didn't care that it had been a funeral parlor. To me, that just meant the place had spirit. And once I started doing my free lectures at the nearby college and things such as that, the place was full. And I started with the cheapest ad that I could get when I wanted to start running my programs in that center. And all it said was, the ads where they are in the services directory of a newspaper, the little square boxes. Some papers, they're at the bottom of the first page. Sometimes they're in a classified section. That's all I could afford without having a hassle at home. Boy, am I tired I ever put up with hassles at home over living my dream. So that's why I'm telling you right now, don't fall into that trap. But I made it work anyway. And now, because of that, that was kind of a blessing because I've learned how to do all of this on the cheap. And that's good for all of us now. So in that little box, which I think I paid $30 a week for, or maybe $30 a month, it was a long time ago, and it was a small town, so it was cheap. All it said was hypnosis for all your needs. Call certified hypnotist Julie, blah, blah, blah. Used to be Schleich, if you can imagine that name. So that got calls, that little tiny ad. And friends who had holistic centers referred people to me. And then because I had clients and I was making money at this really cheap office that I got, I put in an ad in a local newspaper to start a weight loss program because I realized that if I ran a weight loss program 1 day a week, and if I could get, say, 20 people in the weight loss group at, back then, this was 30 years ago, $20 each or $15 each or whatever. Back then, that was good money. If it was $20, just for round number's sake, and I think that's what it was, if I got 20 people, I'd make $400 an hour. That was a lot of money back then. So what happened was I put a little ad in the paper And this was in spring. And all it says was, be slender this summer. And at the bottom of the ad, it said, you will love your new body. And then it said certified hypnotist and my phone number and all that. We didn't even have websites then. This was a long time ago. But the class filled. It filled because of that little ad that was like this big that I think cost me $40 an insertion. So that was just the deal of the century. But you're always going to be able to find a deal. And if you can't get a deal, because now things have changed, especially with newspapers, you can probably find a deal online. You can develop your own following on Facebook and on Instagram and all these other venues. I'm just learning to do that, but I'm off to a pretty good start with Facebook now, but I've got to learn the rest of it. But whatever you have that you can make work for you, polish it up, make it work. Because there's lots of ways, far more ways than when I was first doing it. Even then, sending a press release out, I sent a press release out with a, I would say, a fetching picture of myself, and said something like, hypnotist opens an office in Bemidji. And then it just talked about me and my work, and then it was a creative arts center too. And I thought, well, it'd be really nice if they publish this. I just sent it in. I got half a page of that newspaper, half a page. And then I moved back to Boston after a divorce years later, and I was in Everett and other towns here. And I thought, well, I'll try this here in Everett and see. It's very unlikely that I will get the kind of coverage I got for free in Minnesota, but I'm going to try it. So I sent a similar press release there. And guess what? I got more than half a page. And I went back and thanked the person. That's always important. If somebody does you a solid, go in and thank them. Take them some flowers. Bring them something groovy so that they remember you and feel appreciated. So from that and from all the success I had in calling radio and TV stations, I just realized that I basically never had to pay for anything other than the smallest possible ads. So I went into New Age magazines like Spirited Change and Earth Star and Many Hands, and I would buy the smallest possible ad. Maybe I'd just be in the directory, and that would cost the smallest amount. And I would trust that the universe would help people find that little ad if they wanted my service. And they always worked. It was always enough. And then I would write articles about self-hypnosis, or articles about helping my autistic nephew, or article about hypnosis for teens. I've done all of these things. Hypnosis for adding musical abilities. I've done articles on everything and written scripts and books on everything. But you can just take it and turn it into an article and send it to your local newspaper, send it to a magazine, put it on, there's something called eZine articles, EZINE articles.com, and they will publish your articles there. And if you publish your article there, then it is free to other people who have blogs to pick up your content and put it on their sites. So it could be that you get a lot of exposure from it. So I have everything up there from self-hypnosis for self-love to sexuality enhancement to relaxation, just the whole spectrum. I think I saw 6 articles are still up there, and I haven't added to it in years. But these are all ways to get exposure, and they're all things that you can put in your resume and in your bio. So when you create a brochure for yourself, you can talk about the things that you've done. Has appeared on NBC Duluth, Minnesota, and Springfield, Massachusetts. So start sending things out. Be excited about it. If you are suffering from chicken scaredy-itis, send that chicken scaredy away, okay? And have fun with it. There's no reason that your article will not get the attention that you want it to get. I've asked the universe to even tell me what days to send what things to which organizations. Heck, for me, the practice of staying in touch with the universe and asking for assistance even applies. They even tell me when it's time to go to shop and where to shop. I'll get a message in my head, go to Goodwill in Danvers today. That's where I got this really groovy jacket for, I think, $8. Okay, so again, I'm always on the cheap. Burlington Coat Factory got this really cool spandex dress. I think it was like $20. You can ask for any kind of help from upstairs, or if you don't believe in upstairs, from your own higher mind, because we've all got that, your own super conscious mind, to use your intuition to know when to make the call to the radio station, when to call the TV station, when to submit your press release, the local TV station or whatever you want to do, when to post something on Facebook, what time of day, and follow your own intuition. Don't stand in its way. Make it count for you. So free advertising, let's talk about that. In addition to the free articles that you can get published, you might say, well, shouldn't I be paid for my writing? Well, think of it as payment, that you're getting all this free exposure. Okay? That is payment, especially when I got myself on Kiss 108 for 45 minutes live twice. I can't even imagine what that would cost as an advertiser. It would just be beyond the beyond. And I was doing a show at the Park Plaza Hotel the next day after one of those, and everybody had heard me in Boston that was in the room. They came up to say, oh, we heard you on the Matt in the Morning show, and to chat me up and tell me they enjoyed some of the points that I made, with the boys when they were trying to ruffle my feathers. It was just fun. But anyway, free exposure. Get yourself a lot of free exposure. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. YouTube, I've not done as well with, but I think it's because I don't understand algorithms. I don't even know how to say algorithms. So that's the next thing I have to tackle. I have a few YouTube channels for different reasons, and they get some followings, like one that I did on painting, because I also paint. I posted that, and I think it's got like 4,000 views now. Not bad for me painting my kitchen floor. Some of my programs on sexual hypnotherapy or sexual healing and enrichment, I would call them, they get a lot of hits on YouTube. But everything for me gets even more hits on Facebook Live so far. And Zoom, you can now do Zoom shows. If you get a Zoom account and you keep your programs under 40 minutes, you can get a free Zoom account. You can talk to clients that way. You can do your sessions over Zoom if you don't want to go out in the world of pandemic. You can do sessions for free. If you do want to start Zooming and you want to do little freebie talks that you also want to get on Facebook, you'll need to pay like $15 a month, or maybe if you buy a yearly program, it's more like $12. And then you will be able to, they give you the option to stream live to Facebook and to stream live to YouTube and other platforms at the same time that you're on YouTube, which I think is like the deal of the century. If I was going to spend any money on advertising, it would be the 1-year program at $12 a month that I just paid for this Zoom. Because now already the show that I Zoom on Secret Society of Aging Divas, it got 143 hits the first time I put it up. And the hypnosis program that we did, the education on self-hypnosis, that got 370 on there, and our usual 8 students here on Zoom. So that's like massive exposure. And if I were saying to people in these things, call me for a session, they would call me for a session. Because I'm fun, because I know what I'm talking about, because I give a lot of free information. But I'm not looking for private sessions anymore, but you are. And in the old days, that's what I was doing the free sessions for. I would do the free sessions to start a weight loss clinic. I would do one 90-minute free hypnosis that explains how hypnosis works, and it talks about the benefit of weight loss, and then hypnotizes them once. Hypnotizes them right into oblivion in their mind and makes them feel really, really great, and helps them to see themselves fit and happy and healthy, and profoundly relaxes them. And then you just let them know if they're interested in signing up for a 10-week program, that you have that available very affordably. And, before they leave, they're going to sign up for a 10-week program. That's how I got all my business, was doing those freebies, and people liked and trusted me. And I'd already given them something free, and they discovered, this is the most important thing about doing these free relaxation and promo sessions, is that it proves to them, it's the opportunity to prove to them that they can be hypnotized. Because a lot of people don't think that they'll be able to be hypnotized, and they don't want to spend money and wonder, is this going to work? you prove to them in that freebie session that you are a walking, talking hypnosis machine, and they're going to want to come back to you. And even if you don't have a program going where you're going to do a 10-week this or a stop smoking clinic that or a group with kids, whatever you're doing, even if you don't have that ready yet, do the programs anyway. Think of it as fruitful practice. You know, get moving on it so that when you do have it ready, people have already know your name. You want to get so popular in your locality and in your special niche that when you drive through the drive-up window at the bank or wherever you go, people recognize you from hearing about you, from the picture of you in the paper when they publish your thing. You want to get that kind of recognizability right away if you want to do this and you want to be successful right out of the gate. Now, you might be thinking, oh, Julie, I don't know about that. That just sounds really like a lot. Well, it is a lot. And I'm just saying this is what helped me to succeed, was letting myself do it. I know a lot of people succeed by doing things slower and by doing things more calmly with maybe less bling on than me. I know some people, they succeed in a totally different way. And let me point out that I would not be wearing this outfit if I was going to go do grant rounds at Mass General, which is something I've done because I'm also a highly skilled medical hypnotist with a big reputation in that field. And I was invited and paid to conduct grand rounds at Mass General Hospital. So you can be darn sure that I wore a business suit there and I was prepared, but I was still myself. I went in and I was charming and I knew what I was talking about. And not one of the doctors left early, even though I was warned that most of the doctors would probably leave early. I just said to them at the beginning, I know you guys have a lot on your plate and that you have sessions to go into after this, but how about this? I promise you, I will put you in a very, very, very relaxed state, and I promise you 10 minutes before 1, I will bring you out of it so you can get out of here on time and return your calls before your 1 o'clock appointments. Not one person out of 100 plus left early. And that was like really exciting. But I went in a business suit there, and I know colleagues that wouldn't show up anywhere without a traditional business suit. Like, let's talk about some hypnotists that I know that have done really well. One was this fellow, Tom Nicoli. I think he's in Woburn. He always had a business suit, was very much the businessman. He was more of a traditional businessman than me. Like, I don't know, bean counter, that doesn't sound right. But he knew business and he made it all work, and he also knew hypnosis. So he had a very different approach. But there are people that are going to gravitate towards the Tom Nicolis, he is an elegant man, a good hypnotist, and he had great success. So far out for him, he will draw different people than I will. June will draw different people. Everyone here will draw different people for different reasons on different days. That's how it's supposed to be. That's why it's important to be yourself, because you're in this for the long haul. But also to know when it is time to put on a different hat or a different jacket, or to go in a dance outfit because you're going to teach creativity to teenagers, and you show up in the dance outfit in a little cheerleader thing or something, so that you have that mode going on if that's comfortable to you. Now, you might be the type that is just very spiritually oriented, and you go in very quiet and mysterious and in a whole different way, like, yes, please come in and relax. Let's all get ready to succeed. Okay, that would be very different than, welcome to the secret society of aging divas. Let's get it going on. Okay, that's a whole different thing then. Let's breathe and Om. And I am. And did you know that I am, what that means is I am a part of God. And I am. And you are going.
I have a question, Julie.
Yes.
Business plan.
What?
Take a business plan
A business plan is figuring all this out. You have to take it into your own framework because each one of us have different living expenses.
Right.
Some of us might have children, some not. Some of us might have doctor's bills, some not. You have to figure out how much you have to make to survive, and you have to figure out how many sessions you can do in a week and what you have to charge to make that all work. So yeah, we can do a traditional business plan, and you can certainly do that. And anyone can teach you or assist you in that. I'm sure there are hundreds of YouTube videos on that will be talking about that and be more competent and in that spectrum of knowing that kind of end of business than me. But the business plan for me was do a great job and succeed and do as much as I can every day to move myself forward. And then I kind of just had to swim from one shore to the other and trust that I could swim, trust that I would stay afloat, and I did. So that might be different. You might be, Andy, I think you're way more grounded than me. You might want to have all that in place, and that might make you comfortable to know, all right, this is the nut, this is what I need. As real estate agents, we always had to think that way. I have to get this many listings, I have to make this many sales. So I get that mindset. And in your case, you've got to figure all that out and look it out, and most people do.
I don't know how grounded I am because I think I suffer from, seriously, attention deficit disorder. Okay? And so there's another possible stream of business to go into, to market that kind of a thing.
Yes. Yes. And the best thing any of us can do is cure ourselves of our own problems and then specialize in that later. Maybe you should go to Felicia.
Yeah, well, I was thinking of that when
Yeah.
Felicia spoke about her autism.
Yeah,
And,
for sure. Well, what you're talking about is slightly different than that, but I think she said ADD too. So you can turn yourself around, and I can help you with that. Andy, you can write a script for yourself. Any of you can write a script for yourself on anything, and I'm always willing to look it over for you, even though most of you have already done your tests. You can write another script. I'm always going to help you. That's my job. Happily my job. So let me do that for you. But business plan. Things that you need to know. You need to make sure that you stay current with whatever laws might come in effect in your locality. Here in Massachusetts, I do not know of any law that legislates hypnosis. So that could change. They've been threatening to get laws in place for 20 years in Massachusetts, and it hasn't happened. I don't think it's ever going to happen because there's not enough hypnotists for a branch of the legislation to police us. So I don't think it's ever going to happen here. Do you have regulations like that? And you're in Virginia, is that right, Felicia?
There's very few legislations concerning hypnotherapy and hypnotherapy practitioners. We can't call ourselves therapists. We have to call ourselves a therapist practitioner. We're practicing. We have certifications for these things. But if you want to call yourself a hypnotherapist, you do have to have a psychology degree.
Okay. Well, I've never been a fan of calling myself a hypnotherapist, even though I've got a bachelor's degree in clinical hypnosis. And I know I'm an expert in multiple levels of hypnosis because most people don't know what hypnotherapist means. So I'd always rather call myself a hypnotist or a medical hypnotist or a clinical hypnotist rather than that word therapist. Massachusetts, you're free to do that. But the point is you need to know what the laws are and you need to be prepared to make changes if it comes down to that, where something comes in. The only law that I know of that could affect me right now, if I was still in practice, is we're not allowed to touch a client unless you're a massage therapist or a doctor. You're not supposed to touch somebody. And many clients benefit from having you hold their wrist or touch their shoulders to help them to go into trance. So I recommend, and this is what I was taught in a convention in Las Vegas, is that we should all apply online to become ministers or reverends. You can get that free, that designation for free. And then you will always be able to say, this is part of my spiritual practice, and nobody will be able to bust you for squeezing somebody's wrist or touching their shoulder during a session. So I recommend that. Do I know if that will always protect you? Of course not. I can't see that far, but that's an easy thing that you can do. That's something to be aware of. Many hypnotists get professional liability insurance. I don't think anyone is actually doing that anymore. But I would never say to you, don't get professional liability insurance. But I don't get it anymore. I learned that hypnotists are the lowest sued group of any profession per capita in the world. That's your call, though. You have to make these decisions yourself. You can decide if you're going to have a doing business as bank account, or if you're going to put your funds in your own regular personal bank account. You can decide if you want to become a limited liability corporation. I recommend the first year of your practice that you just keep it simple. You might want to have a doing business as checking account if you can get one for free, and keep all your money that you collect from hypnosis in that one account, because that will make bookkeeping easier. And write out any payments that you make off that account, because then everything that's in and out of that doing business as account, when it comes time to file taxes, it will all be right there in one place, and you won't have to dig through your personal stuff to find everything. Programs like QuickBooks and other programs I used early on, there's probably better ones now than that to keep track of money in, money out. And certainly you should do that. And certainly keep track of everything that you buy for your business, whether it's computer paper or a desk or your electricity. If you can designate one room or one area of your house, check the rules on that. You used to be able to cordon off a certain area of your home and call it your office if you didn't have an office. I don't know if that law is still the same, because I retired a few years ago, so I don't do it that way anymore. But for years, we took that pretty good discount, because not only did it discount my taxes, what I have to pay on my taxes, I got credit on my insurance and on my taxes. All of that went towards my income taxes deduction. My heating bills, my light bills, everything. So find out. You can get an accountant that will do that, or you can go online and say, what can I deduct? And see what you find out, because I find that anytime I need to know something now, which is way different than it was back in the day, I type the question into YouTube or into a search engine, and I'm led to a whole bunch of ways to get the proper answer for that. Business, again, you can call me and I'll talk you through it. Write your own business plan. Send it to me if you want. If you didn't do that as part of your exam, you can send it to me and I'll go through it with you and look to see if there's any glaring things that you might need to be aware of. Let me just go through the rest of the stuff, because I don't want to run out of time on you. What do you want to do? Who are you? How do you want to express yourself? And what is your goal in being a hypnotherapist? Where can you be of most service? Where can you get the best results for yourself financially and monetarily? How to stand apart from others? What is your shtick? How do you want to stand apart? Where will you practice? Now, again, many of us will be practicing on Zoom or on FaceTime or some other calling service, or what is the one that was on the computer that we all used to use? I can't think of the name. Skype, yes. That's free, and most people can hook that up. I think right now everybody is Zooming. So I recommend you at least get a free account, because you can still be on for free for 45 minutes with individual clients. You would just have to watch the time. And I would recommend reaching in your pocket and getting the $15 a month program, because you don't want to be watching your time with hypnosis clients. That would be bad if you were suddenly cut off. And you get more storage space and all kinds of things when you have a professional program, if you want to store the sessions. So what I used to do was, I always wanted an office, because I wasn't a big fan of having people into my house, because that meant more housework for me, and I'm not a neat person. So that might be different for you. You might be like the neatest person ever, and you might have a great house and a great area in your home. But I want to share that there have been times when I worked at home and it was fine. But you just have to be particularly mindful of who you let come and see you, and you have to do a good intake form on them before you accept them into your home, because once somebody's in your house, you're kind of stuck with them. Mm-hmm. So I would be really careful and make sure you fill out the intake form like we discussed in our class. And then let them know that after you read their form, you will let them know if you're the right therapist for them. Because then if you don't like something on their form and you Google them or something and you find out something creepy about them, you could say, I'm sorry, I don't do this kind of hypnosis, or you can get yourself out of it. So be extra careful in your home if you're going to accept clients in home. And of course, be safe. You know, that's the name of the game right now. Everybody needs to be safe. But I personally am not going to be having sessions with people or going to my hairdresser or anything for a good long time until I'm sure it is safe, because of my personal protection is important to me and my health is important to me. And I don't want to make anyone else sick accidentally. But I'm not going to tell you that you can't do a session in your own house or in your own office if you have the right circumstance, the right setup where you can be far enough apart, where you're not going to touch the person, where you can sanitize. So you have to find a place and a way to practice, whether it is remotely or whether it is on purpose. So figure that out. Another thing that's really a good way to start is buying time in somebody else's office. I did that for a number of times when I was new in a town, after divorces, when I was brand new in practice. Like, a friend of mine had a holistic health practice, and she only charged me 20% of whatever I took in. So it was really easy for me to start my practice because I had no overhead at all. Plus, she sent me clients and wouldn't take a commission. So 20%, like I would have paid 40% without batting an eye. So that's how I started. Then I got busy so fast that I went into a municipal building where they had a place where you get your driver's test, and they also had accountants and all kinds of other offices. I got a good deal, like on an office there. It was very small. I grew out of that very fast. That's when I went to the funeral home. But you have to go incrementally. Do not sign a lease on something unless you are sure you can afford it, because leases are legal documents. So start small. If you want to do it at home, that's okay. Many hypnotists do it in their own homes their entire lives. Another option is making house calls. Not my favorite. I don't like to wonder what's going to happen in somebody else's house. If you do make house calls, you've got to make sure that they're not going to have a pet that's going to disturb the session. You also have to get them to agree, this is my suggestion, not to have anyone smoke in the house for at least 8 hours before the session, if you're sensitive to that, and for them to not have any alcohol that day. Because you don't want to walk into a place that reeks of alcohol and have a drunk client. That might sound crazy, but it's all of this I've learned the hard way. So, quick, fast story. One of my friends, who's one of my graduates, so a hypnotist, but he's also a massage therapist, he went to see people at a hotel during the Boston Marathon. It's really easy for massage therapists and hypnotists to get a lot of work during the time of the marathons for sports enhancement and for relaxation, all kinds of things. So he was going to do a massage on a husband and wife who were running the marathon. And when he got there and they let them into the hotel they were staying in, they were complete buck-ass naked. Like that was normal or something. So he just invited the wife to go downstairs and, put some clothes on, go downstairs and have a coffee while he worked on her husband, and then the reverse. But, what are you going to do? He was already there. He didn't know what was going to happen. So really weird stuff can happen when you're going into someone else's environment, whether it's a hotel room, which I don't think hypnotists should work in hotel rooms, unless it's a group thing and you're doing it in a proper facility or a seminar hall. But if you have control of the situation, it is better. That's why I liked having an office, and why I really made sure I knew who was coming into my home if I was going to see somebody privately. And here's the other thing to know. If you ever take somebody in, like maybe they filled out the intake form, they seemed normal, they were very, very nice to you on the phone when you interviewed them or what have you. Sometimes people are liars. Okay? Sometimes they're snots. They could come in and still be obnoxious, no matter how nice they are ahead of time. So, when I say this to you, I'm going to look right in the camera. It is okay to invite someone to leave. It's okay to say, I'm sorry, this is not going to work out. I'm not going to charge you for the session today, but I would like you to go now. There's the door. And, that's what you do. If you ever feel like you're in danger from somebody, definitely do not take them in because you feel sorry or because you feel like you've cured yourself of something that they have. Don't ever operate out of a place of guilt or feeling like you have to do something. And if you get that feeling in your stomach that you're not comfortable with somebody with an intake form you're reading, make an excuse. I know I agreed to look at your intake form, but I just got so busy, or you could say I'm having a family thing that I have to deal with. If we all have family things we have to deal with, that's not even a fit. Oh, also, you're gonna want to be prepared when people call you to have a good spiel on the phone, and to tell them, okay, this is what I always did. I always sent out a free relaxation and happiness CD to everybody who called, and the intake form and a brochure. I'd say, I'm going to send you this. I'd like you to fill out the form and send it back to me. And once I read your intake, then I will be able to call you back within 24 hours and let you know if I believe will be a good combination, because I only accept clients if I'm 100% sure that I can assist you. If you say that to people and you're sending them something free that will prove to them that they like your voice, that the CD hypnotized them, they're going to want to come. You're just backing it up a little bit. That's how I would handle the first round of intake. And then because I had their intake form, by the time they came to me, I was really ready to work on them because I knew a lot about them. And I could go through the intake form with them during the first session. But all of this was something that I did that was above and beyond what other hypnotists were doing. Nobody was sending out a free tape that I could have sold for $30.
Right.
Nobody was doing that. So it was customer service above and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
I want to tell you about this bakery down the street. I think it's Italian because it is a branch of a place in the North End in Boston. It's called Durham Pasta, and it's an organic. They have all organic breads and pasta that they make homemade. Now I'm telling you about them because of their level of customer service. Across the street from there was a bakery called Dimitri's, and we all went there. We liked Dimitri's. Then I went vegan. I couldn't go there anymore because everything there has milk in it. So I stopped going to Dimitri's. But this place, Durham, opened, and they have products that I can eat. So they serve everyone, and they're very careful with what I need that is special to me. And they go out of their way to order salt-free products for my husband and to point out if something might have eggs in it or whatever. This is what they do that really blows me away. Two things. This woman, Marianne, that I think is like the manager there, I've been in after 4 o'clock and I've bought things. And she's like, oh, no, I'm not charging you for that today because it's after 4 o'clock. I had my money in my hand, but she thought it would be less delicious than it would have been 2 hours before. So she wouldn't take my money. One day I went in, there was one big loaf of olive chipolata bread left, my fave, or one of my faves. And it had a dent in it. That was like a $6 loaf of bread. She would not charge me for it because it wasn't perfect. The other day I was in there and there were a couple teenage girls running it, and I ordered my rosemary garlic bread, and they said, oh, pick a whole nother bread for free because it's after 4. This is the kind of customer service you want to deliver.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay? You want to have everything be special and delicious, and you want to give something extra. Granted, let's hope it's not always bread, because I could eat bread till I explode. Offer something extra, and I start with that. So the first day somebody calls, I'm sending them a free tape, or that was a tape, that's how old I am, a free CD or a free MP3 download. I would do it all now on the computer because that doesn't cost me any money. I would email it, the MP3 download, the intake form, don't even have to go to the post office or put a stamp on anything. But it's still something free. And then I tell them if they want to read about me, they can go to hypnosistoday.com and read my bio. You could put your brochure online in the form of a website, so you don't even have to print a brochure anymore. You could have a little video that you make explaining how hypnosis works that's on your website, so people can go learn about it and hear from you, and you could do something live on that for them to check out. Do more than your competition, and don't even view yourself as having competition. View yourself as an original, as a person who's going to do things so masterfully and so wonderfully and so lovingly, there's never going to be a doubt that you're going to have clients. And with such love for every bit of the learning process, and trust the universe, trust your higher mind, and it's all going to work out. I just want to see what else we want to cover here that I might have forgot. I think I probably got it all. So we just were talking about Marianne and the Durham pasta shop and bakery. They were across from Diamici's. Diamici's never gave me anything free for the 6 years that I've lived here, not one thing free. But Diamici's went out of business. Across the street is Durham Wheat, which is busy, 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 and they're really good customer service. In fact, they have a tip jar for the young girls that work there. And one day it was just Marianne there, and she gave me like so much free stuff that I wanted to like pay for it and just throw it in the tip jar. And she said, "Oh, no, no, no. You know, the tip jar is only out when the girls are here. You certainly do not have to tip me." Like, what the heck? You know, I was just going to give her money. But, you know, that's how she rolls. And that's a great way to roll. Study, practice, be fabulous. Walk your talk, walk your talk, walk your talk. For example, if you're smoking cigarettes, don't run a smoking clinic. If you are more than 20 pounds overweight, get some of that weight off until you look the part. If you have emphysema, cure that before you take people in. Oh, you know, I want to talk about niche markets. One of my students, he developed a niche market for the gastric band bypass. You know that surgery, the gastric band bypass, where people have their stomach stapled so that they'll eat less? Well, he developed a niche market where he does a virtual gastric band hypnosis where people just feel like that's happening and have the same effects without the surgery. And that really set him apart. He also developed a hypnosis TV show. Those two things made his career. He was also a nurse. He had a nursing background. That's Paul Gustafson. He is in Burlington, Massachusetts. And you could look up his website, Paul Gustafson Healthy Hypnosis, Burlington, Mass, and see what a class act he is. Again, he comes across from a medical perspective. That's part of his niche market. He's very classy. He's well-spoken. He used to be a musician. He had the TV show. So he had a lot of things about him that made him special. And highest on that list was his trustworthiness and his love for hypnosis. So what else? So walk your talk. Start taking on small projects that you know are manageable. Any one of you can very competently put someone in trance now, have a really good progressive relaxation and hypnosis session that will convince them that they can come back. Do that first. Get good at it. Get great at it. And then keep challenging yourself to be more and more and better and better. And write scripts to make yourself awesome. Okay? My students, I just sent you all the book, Recipes for Wellness, which is not even available anymore. There's 20 hypnosis scripts in there that you can use in your private practice. It's got 2 weight, 2 smoking. I just realized that was the easiest and best thing that I could do for you all. I wrote at least half of those scripts to make myself awesome. There's one called Personal Power and Creativity, one called Accessing Your Psychic Awareness. One of them was called Relaxation and Sound Sleep, Weight Loss, Smoking Cessation. One on Stage Presence, I think, is in there. I'd have to look at the whole list, but I did it all for myself so that I would be awesome. There's also one in there, Maria, I don't know if you noticed, Hypnosis for Super Kids, that I wrote for my teen group. Really worked out well. Hypnosis for Super Parents, because a lot of times when somebody brings a child or a teen into your office, it's the parent that's really the problem. I'm sorry, that sounded harsh, but you know, it's usually true. So in treating a kid for and giving them the Hypnosis for Super Kids program, I just give the parents Hypnosis for Super Parents as a freebie, because I want the kids to get well and I want the parents to chill out in a lot of cases. So again, didn't mean to sound harsh, but that's how it goes sometimes. So customer service, professionalism, appropriate venues for what you're talking about, do what you love. What can you bring that's special? Get yourself booked as a speaker at seminars and expos, because they all need lecturers at any venue you can think of. Yes, you'll be doing it for free, but you can get a table or you can put up a website and sell things afterwards. And that's how you get known. I think I've covered it all, and I think we're probably getting, we're past time already. Not that I ever run over any kids. So we'll only run over a little bit. Actually, I said to Fred, my husband, that I was going to book this for an hour and 15 minutes, so I actually stopped within an hour and a half. So that's what we're going to do. But let's just together Take a deep breath and allow your eyes to close for a moment if you so choose, and feel relaxation rolling across your body. And as you breathe and relax, see yourself succeeding. See your success. If there's any obstacles standing in the way of your success, see yourself easily moving them out of your way. See yourself getting in touch with your higher mind and your intuition. Feel yourself, hear yourself, succeeding in connecting in and communicating well with yourself and others. See all the best opportunities coming to you, and money flying in through the windows, flying in through the doors, beautiful green money. Imagine yourself rolling around and playing in the money. Maybe you can smell it. Hear opportunity coming to you, running towards you. That's right. Opportunity is racing towards you. And know that when opportunity knocks, you will have the courage to open the door and let it in, whether it's a TV show that you can be on or as a guest, whether it is writing a press release and publishing it, whether it's publishing articles to bring your practice further and farther ahead. Whatever it is that you need to do, see yourself succeeding and let yourself have it. And get in touch with what will make you the happiest, what will make you the healthiest, and do those things joyfully, happily, peacefully, successfully. You can be, do, have, and become anything you desire, and it helps to set intentions with the universe. Universe, as in line with my highest good, help me to create this kind of practice or something better. Help me to find this kind of office space or something better. Help me to access limitless and unending supplies of free advertising. And remember that you can get free advertising on local TV stations as long as you are running free things, and you can get space in local newspapers for free in the what's happening pages of your papers. As long as it's free, they will publish it. Same thing with the holistic magazines. They want to tell people what's going on that is free. So let yourself develop organizational skills that help you to line all these things up. The phrase putting your ducks in a row has always been one of my favorites. And to me personally, it's never been more important than it is right now. It's always been important, but I have many things that I'm juggling, and I'm going to keep all those balls in the air, and so can you, to do what you need to do what you want to do what serves your highest good. And as you act in line with your own highest good and the good of your clients and the universe, your success is a foregone conclusion. Walk your talk, fly your talk. I love you all, and I always want to help. So feel free to check in with me at any time. I'm going to let you go. Thank you for being here. It'll be interesting to see how many people we had on board with Facebook. If you're coming in from Facebook and you've hung with us, thank you so much. And you can also contact me at Julie Griffin Hypnosis at iCloud or on Messenger. And you can also check out my webpage to see my bio if you're interested at hypnosistoday.com. I've got a lot of good books there that I've written. By the way, I forgot to mention, I've written 14 hypnosis-related books, and I've conducted over 1,000 hypnosis seminars in 18 states and 3 countries. So I have been qualified to teach you this class, and this is the book that I wrote about a hypnotist who is starting over, and the telephone date line. It's a little bit naughty. If you feel like having a good read, you can get it on Amazon.com. It's called Flying the Talk. I also am the author of, this is a great book if you're new in hypnosis, Facilitating Wellness Inside the Miracle of Hypnosis. Julie Griffin, you can get that on Amazon.com. If you have Prime, you might even be able to get it for free. And I also am the author of Clinical Hypnosis, Simplified and Magnified. This book is being reworked to be more current because I wrote it many years ago. I also am developing the franchise Fit Fast, the 10-week weight loss program. I'm not trying to sell any of those things. I'm just trying to let you know that I produced all that, and so can you. And I look forward to your unending, relentless, powerful success, and to all the love and empowerment and healing you're going to help facilitate in yourself and others. Peace out. Enjoy.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.